point is, the end result is the same.
Duty calls.
I have searched the world over for you.
That is so cool.
You guys all just have this really tight bond.
Just call me the computer whisperer. He seemed so nice and normal.
You don't want to come back to my place?
The bleach smell makes me nauseous.
I thought it was going to be a slow night.
It's fucking fantastic.
I love that sound.
Can we go now?
Hello.
Ahoy! I didn't get any spritz noise off of mine.
Oh,
Very disappointed.
yeah, you should be.
Oh, because it's flat as fuck.
Oh,
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
do you want another?
I'm gonna try the other one here. See what happens. Hey, that's better.
There we go. No flat ginger beers here.
Except for that one.
Yeah.
What a
Welcome
waste.
to Beer with Buffy. I'm Rex.
I'm Josh.
In today's episode, we are reviewing Buffy Season 6, Episode 10, Wrecked.
Wrecked.
And first things first, I just want to say, dear listeners, I have unfortunate sad news, and that is that we are going to be taking a little bit of a hiatus.
What? Beer with Buffy? Taking a hiatus, you say?
Yes.
That never happens.
Well, it does often happen around this upcoming time of year, but it's happening a little bit earlier this year because I'm getting married.
Ew. Also, congratulations, I guess.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting married. The wedding at time of recording is 28 days away, and there's just so much fucking work to do that we got to kind of put the podcast on hold because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. It's awful.
And the son of a bitch is even stringing us out until after their honeymoon.
Yes. And just like the last time we took a break, we will pause the Patreon during the time that we are breaking. And so if you are a supporter, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to change your membership or anything. It will just automatically pause, stop pulling money. And during the break, you can even still sign up to be a patron. It just won't pull anything till we unpause it.
Yeah. Moral of the story is, please don't leave us. We love you. We can't live without you. We really can't. My blood will fall onto the floor. And it'll be like, I'm not getting back in. And it'll be like, you better get back in. Get back in. And it'll be like, I don't want to. I'll be like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die if you don't squirtle your way back into my body somehow.
That sounds awful.
I guess that's not really how that works.
No.
Be getting all sorts of little floor bits of gum wrappers and pieces of toilet paper.
Apparently, you're going to lose your blood in a very dirty room.
Cockroach poop. I mean, have you seen this auditorium I work in?
It's not quite that bad.
It depends on which part. You haven't seen the basement.
Yeah, fair. Actually, I have seen the basement. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, you did. Hey-oh.
I got to see all the creepy little nooks and crannies of this place.
Giggity.
It's
Right
nice,
up there.
It's a nice, creepy old building. The sort of place that there'd be a Phantom of the Opera. No river underneath the place, though.
That you know of.
True.
We've got a river Styx. Don't tell people we don't have a river Styx. Come on, man. What are you trying to do to our revenue here? Trying to tank it? Son of a bitch. So anyway, we don't have any reviews. We don't have any voicemails. But if you want to give us a review, that's one of our favorite things that you can do, and probably the best thing you can do to help us.
Yes.
Jump onto the ye old iTunes, or as some of you posh fucks like to call it, iTunes.
Yes.
And then once we get one more goddamn review, just one more, we're currently at 74. When we get to 75, we're going to give away a Beer with Buffy hoodie.
So that means more than likely when we return from our hiatus, we will be giving away a hoodie.
And it could be to you.
Yes.
If you're one of those people that reviewed us.
Anyone who has given a written review will be in the running for the hoodie.
And that's only because we have no way to track who just gives us stars.
Yeah, exactly.
So And if anybody wants to go buy a hoodie just for shits and giggles in the meantime, our store is open again. www.beerwithbuffy.com/products or /shop, or just go to beerwithbuffy.com. It'll be fine. You'll find it. If
Has
you're-
everything Beer with Buffy related.
If you're a internet savvy millennial like us, you shouldn't have any issues. If you're a Zoomer or a Gen Alpha, you're probably fucked.
Actually, no, they're probably better at it than we
You
are.
could probably write the
They
back end
teach
code.
coding in high school now.
Yeah, I was gonna say they could
Like-
probably write the back end code for
Yeah.
us in a half an hour.
Anyway, we got Patreons to read off and a show to get on with.
We do.
Yes,
Fuck a doodle do.
exactly.
Yeah, we have executive producers that I, for some reason, started saying fuck a doodle do about them, and then started making all sorts of jokes about fucking chickens a long time ago.
And cloacas
It's
and
really
everything.
kind of run its course, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop. I will never stop. I will beat it until it is a pulp, until it is dinner on the table, and then you've pooped it out of your cloaca.
If there's any one truth about you, Josh, it's that you'll hold on to a joke forever.
Oh, I know how to beat a dead horse. Oh, boy, do I. Oh, shit, son. So, our executive producers / doodle doos are, we have a new one, Pixie Dark. Love that name, by the way.
Yes.
Elon Bond, Tracy Kidd, finally figured out name change meow, Monica Fonseca, Excellentaez, Super Spike, Audrey, 2 French last names, Bridget McLeod. Check out my band Decryptids. Maybe I will. Don't threaten me with a good time. Allie B, Nathan Lancy, Dulcinea, Rachel Doodle Doo, Clubula Seal, Mr. Tabalicious, Sandra Craig, Jay Sommer, Catherine Parkinson, Karen Moon, Chris V. Man, Leroy Jenkins. You knew we were going to do that. That's why you
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Leroy Jenkins, whatever your real name is.
I don't even remember half of who these people are.
No idea. No idea. Bad at changing their name heaps. Two-tone don't fucking call Bradley Cooper Gnome. Father Defenestrato, Matthew and Doodle Doo, Kelly MC, Jesse Rain, Alex from the Heart, and Carrie Phillips.
Thank you so much. Without you, this show literally is not possible.
100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
All right. Time for a mom synopsis. Let's get this show on the road.
Joshua! What are you doing, Joshua? Not heroin, that's for sure. Don't come in. What's that, Joshua? It sounds like you're doing heroin. Nope, definitely just having loud, perverse, and degrading sex with a person. I don't think that's true, Joshua. I think you're slapping the ham that I was going to cook for dinner and chasing the pink dragon. Nope, definitely big old sex addict in here. You know me. Can't get enough of the ladies. Yes, Joshua, it's a regular revolving door out here. You can keep the ham for now, but I'm still going to cook it for later, okay? I was making a ham sandwich, okay? Okay, you know what, Joshua? I don't think I want it back. Really? Why not? It's still perfectly good. I just made a ham sandwich, that's all. Are you fornicating with the ham, Joshua? What? No! Did I raise you to be a dirty ham fucker, Joshua? You didn't raise me to be anything but anxious and depressed and reactive to your abuse. Actually, yes, you did raise me to be a dirty ham fucker in retrospect. How dare you blame this on me? You're an addict, Joshua. That's what I've been trying to tell you for years.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, my son's a dirty ham fucker. What in the world? How could this happen? You disgusting little ingrate. I can't believe this is happening to me. Mom, do you want some heroin? That's all I asked, Joshua. Was that so difficult? Because today on Buffy the Vampire Slayer... Buffy Buffy and Spike wake up in a puddle of the previous night's bad decisions and have slightly differing feelings about it. Buffy and Willow find out they accidentally abandoned Dawn as they return from their respective walks of shame. Amy, in an attempt to top their night at the Bronze, takes Willow to see a guy named Rack, who shows them a good time but at an exceptional cost. Willow takes Dawn out for a movie night to make up for not being there, but makes a pit stop at Rack's, and the night goes off the rails as Willow seriously endangers Dawn. Not to mention they miss the movie. Buffy bails them out after having some spicy conversations with Spike about their encounter. Willow crumples to the ground in hysterical guilt after getting Dawn seriously injured. Willow and Buffy both try to swear off their addictions. Will they succeed? Find out next week on Beer with Buffy! Not affiliated with any official representatives of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but that doesn't mean they're better than us. Also, the end.
Ladies, gentlemen, spiny-headed looking creatures. Soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Soon as the sun goes down, vampire. Competition is a beautiful thing. Boots here.
God damn. Oh.
Woo! I'm glad you liked that one.
I don't think I will ever actually be able to anticipate where you're going to go with those.
I'm glad you liked that one because I struggled with that one.
I definitely didn't anticipate heroin and ham fucking.
All right, the ham was totally out of left field. The heroin very much tied to this episode.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I actually got a bit lightheaded on that one.
Woo! I don't know if you guys could tell, but as I was trying to read the actual synopsis, Rex was still laughing his ass off over there.
Yeah, I had to put my head down and kind of sit off mic for a moment. Catch my breath. Oh.
Wow, I am very burpy today. I am not sorry. So we start off in the living room.
Yes, the summer home living room where Dawn and Tara wake up from being asleep on the couch. Cartoons are on the TV. Turns out it's 7 a.m. Buffy and Willow didn't come home.
Dawn supposedly, according to her, I take her word for it, has the wedgie from hell. So she says. Tara realizes no one came home last night because they'd have been woken up. They check the bedrooms. Ain't nobody there. No Buffy, no Willow.
No, more specifically, the beds are untouched.
Untouched.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's that. So cut to an abandoned building. Not just any abandoned building. The abandoned building. It's not so abandoned anymore.
It's not so much a building anymore.
Well, I mean, it's not really standing anymore. Either.
No.
Yeah, Buffy has some real buyer's remorse as she realizes what she did with a more sober mind about her now. And she didn't even notice the building collapsing around them.
Yeah, when she wakes up, the first thing she says is, "When did the building fall down?"
That's right, Buffy. It wasn't a fever dream. This was point insertion, folks. They made the beast with two backs. The four-legged triangle. They gave themselves a standing ovation, and they did it with pants on, everyone. Both of them. I think we all know that's not how anatomy works, but I'm sure it's somebody's fantasy to have sex fully clothed. I didn't say it was me, and you can't prove it. The collapsing building really is a bit of a twist, but I'm sure people would pay good money for that.
God, I just think that would be dangerous.
The collapsing building or having sex with pants on?
I mean, I meant the collapsing building, but I can think of some avenues where having sex with pants on is just not a good call.
Right? Like, it could work if you're in exactly the right scenario to do it, and that's not it.
Right.
I mean, the pants came off eventually, but that was off camera.
Yes.
Between episodes. So, yeah. Okay, no need to go into any more gory detail about what's happening in my brain on that. We'll just go on. Just move on.
Opening credits.
Yeah. So I'm starting to think Buffy's in a bit of a fugue state when this kind of shit happens, you know? Some kind of a bit of a manic depressive episode, but you know, not the actual type of manic depressive where you're one or the other,
Right.
She's both manic and depressive at the same time, which I'm not sure is an actual thing.
I don't think so.
She's manically depressive, and she just goes on fuck sprees with bad boys. So, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our vices. Hers apparently is fucking dead people.
Yeah, she tries to specify, no, I don't have a thing for vampires. I got hot by a vampire.
And you're just convenient.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, who you trying to convince, Buffy?
Yeah. But yeah, she definitely has buyer's remorse. Spike, of course, is trying to get her to stay, and he nearly pulls it off.
Almost.
Pun intended.
Giggity.
Pants.
He starts trying to get things hot and heavy again.
Yeah, and get her clothes back on.
Which never doesn't start by him being abusive.
Yeah.
Both physically and emotionally.
Well, one major problem with this whole scenario is that, Buffy basically taught him that the way he was going about trying to seduce her worked fucking perfectly.
Right.
So he's just going to double down on that as much as he can.
But didn't teach him that in the, here's a chalkboard, I'm going to draw you a diagram, right. So much as taught him in the demonstrated by behavior form of taught.
Yeah. Reinforced. Reinforced.
There you go. That's a good word for that.
But yeah, Buffy tries to resist Spike trying to start things back up, but doesn't really do a great job of it and nearly falls victim to the seductive power of Spike. But then snaps out of it when he expresses that fucking a Slayer is better than killing a Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would snap me out of it, too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I knew the only thing better than killing a Slayer would be fucking one. And it, whoa there, killer. You had to know that was a mood killer.
Yeah.
Which is why he said it, because he's a killer. Including killer of moods. Yeah?
I don't think that's what he's going for, though.
Yeah? Lame. So, yeah, she, for some reason, didn't like that. Weird. So he's like, all right, go back to treating me like dirt, no. Now he knows he can get away with it and how far he can push her and then be rewarded by it.
Well, and he doesn't want to go back to being treated like shit either. Berates her for, just treating him like this till she has an itch to scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And, that is kind of a valid point. I mean, he doesn't gain any points because, the rest of the fucking scenario is bullshit.
Oh, he's an absolute dirtbag. They went full soap opera with this. Just how much drama can we entertain people with? Let's make it as dirty as possible.
Yeah.
Speaking of, pseudo quote of the day here. Spike says, I may be dirt, but you're the one who likes to roll in it, Slayer. You never had it so good as me, never. Buffy says, ugh, you're bent. Spike says, yeah, and it made you scream, didn't it? And I'm like, holy dick jokes, Batman.
Yeah.
Wow. They went there.
Yeah, they did.
Like, that one flies right over your head if you're not paying attention. But when you're taking notes on it, you're like, wait, what?
That's one of those, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. So, finally, he holds up her underwear asking, do you want these then? And she punches him in the face. And he really is just in love with the pain. She wasn't wrong on that point.
Oh, God, no.
Like, wow. But do you think, I absolutely think at this point, Spike has put 2 and 2 together, that if he makes Buffy feel bad, he gets attention.
Yeah, that's exactly what she has taught him.
Yeah, we already covered that. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Like, the worse she feels, the more she fucks him.
Mm-hmm.
That is what he's learned, and he is going to milk that for every fucking second he can.
And that is the lesson.
Yeah.
Learned here, everybody. Abuse your partners for things you want?
I mean...
Don't do that. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, I figured it out. We're going to be okay. Moving on.
Oh, man. Cut back to Buffy's house in the kitchen where Tara is cooking Dawn some breakfast. Pancakes.
Pancakes.
Even I'm going to probably make pancakes tomorrow.
Even offers to make them in funny shapes.
Yes.
But before we get to see how in the hell she'd have pulled that off, I think that's really where this episode should have gone. This should have been the pancake episode. But no, they just bounced right over that. And instead, Willow and her, fucking new girlfriend wander in from their slutty evening of debauchery, still tonguing each other's ears just to make Tara feel like a cow. Or at least I'm sure that's what Tara must have felt like and thought when she saw them walk in. Because Willow makes sure to specify that this is Amy, who was a rat until very, very recently.
Yes.
Not some new meat to keep the sheets warm, which cleared up Tara's stutter real nice. And she went back to just being a normal level of extremely pissed off when Amy starts ranting about how amazing of a witch Willow is and all the kinds of super irresponsible interdimensional transmography she was doing.
I really like this moment because Amy, who is obviously just feeling awkward, starts rambling about Willow doing magic. And you can tell that the way she's doing it, like, she feels awkward, and so she's thinking that, like, I'm going to compliment Willow, and it's, gonna make everything better.
I'm gonna wingman for Willow. Come on, Willow, you got this. Get back in there, get you some.
And the whole time Willow's like, what in the fuck are you doing?
No. Bad. Maybe you should have given her specifics. Maybe communication. Well, she also didn't know that Tara was going to be at Buffy's house.
Right.
But also, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, this means that Tara makes a very quick exit. Not even really much for goodbyes. She just grabs her shit and goes, leaving the pancakes there and everything.
And she walks right past Buffy on her way in, wandering in from the Walk of Shame. And she tells Dawn that she got in a fight that lasted all night. And Dawn wants to know who the big bad is. If they're safe, Buffy, of course, can't tell them what really happened. She'd have to have a real conversation with honest emotions or something and connect with her family and friends. Ugh.
Be vulnerable for 5 whole fucking seconds.
Oof, that is a tall ask. Yeah. I'm going to have to ask you to back the fuck up. All right? I'm not sure I can even allow that kind of talk on this podcast.
I'm sorry.
Now walk out. Get the fuck back here. Good job. Okay. Yeah. It probably also, maybe she doesn't need to tell her little sister who she's fucking.
Right.
Or how hard or why.
There's nothing necessarily wrong about not divulging certain information in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has a right to know who Buffy's boning except Buffy.
Yeah. Not even Spike. He doesn't even get to know.
I mean, if it's him, he should know.
No. She needs to knock him out, and it's okay. He doesn't have a soul. There's nothing.
Yeah. That brings up an interesting question. Can vampires consent?
Oh. I mean, I think my point is that since vampires are just evil things.
I mean, if you think about it, Spike is a body that is possessed by a vampire. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the body can't consent.
I was going to say he can consent about as well as a blow-up doll can consent.
Yeah.
Which is to say, yes.
But we got kind of a couple of good lines here. I'm going to give a quote of the day to one of them. The second one, not the first one, but I want to mention the first one as an honorable mention because Dawn says to Buffy, "You should rest. You're beat from monster wrestling all night." And just the look on Buffy's face is priceless.
Yeah, not inaccurate.
She's like, yeah, wrestling. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely that.
That's what we were doing.
Nothing else.
We weren't slapping a ham.
But after,
I mean, we were slapping a ham.
yes, ham slapping.
We were fucking the ham.
But after both Buffy and Willow head upstairs, Dawn just looks around the empty room and says, "No problem. I'll just go find some awake people."
Awake people. Ew.
Also, this is like apparently like maybe 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Who wants to be around people at 8 a.m.?
Go back to bed. Maybe it's the weekend. I don't know. Wouldn't she have school? Is it the summer? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Hmm.
It must be winter break, maybe? It's the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Or it's got to at least be a weekend. But no, like, it's got to be Monday.
Because then she gets in trouble on Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The next day, she gets in trouble.
Yeah. So maybe it was like Veterans Day or something.
Yeah.
So, yep, it's fine. They all abandoned Dawn, but
Dawn's used to it.
it's
Builds
fine.
character.
It's fine.
Builds character.
Everyone just calm down. It's fucking fine. Because Tara was there.
Well, if this guy wants to fight with weapons, I've got it covered from A to Z. From axe to the other axe. I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
Next scene, Willow's room. She lays down and she tries to close the curtains with her powers, but she can't.
Yeah.
Weird.
She's burnt out.
Aw, geez, she's all tuckered out from all of her bad magic doing.
Yes.
But not half as bad as what she's about to get up to.
Yeah, right. Cut to the
magic box.
We cut to Xander and Anya researching. Apparently this is much later in the day than I originally anticipated because Buffy is there.
Oh, yeah, she would have slept.
Yeah, because Buffy and Dawn are both there.
Yeah.
So this must be like the afternoon by this point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Xander and Anya are researching a bit, but actually Anya isn't researching. She is hiding wedding magazines in research books to look at wedding dresses and such. And you know what? Good on her. Find what's important to you in the moment and take control of your life.
Yeah, she knows what's up. She knows they're not making any fucking progress.
Yeah.
Stop beating your head against the wall over nothing.
Exactly. And you know what? A lot of times when you are just kind of spinning wheels on something, you need to step away, do something completely unrelated. And then, that's when epiphanies happen, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to let that subconscious mind do the work for you. So finally, Xander shuts up about different kinds of lizard demons, and Anya's ignoring him. They tell Buffy they're not making any progress, and then they have some bickering, bantering about Martha Stewart being a witch. And
hold on. This is one of my quotes of the day. Xander says that Martha Stewart is a demon, but Anya replies, "Don't be ridiculous. Martha Stewart isn't a demon. She's a witch." He goes, "Oh, really? Of course. Nobody could do that much decoupage without calling the powers of darkness." Do you know what decoupage is?
I believe I'm aware of what decoupage is. Isn't it's a form of resurfacing.
Yeah. It's literally taking like designs cut out of paper and like gluing it to shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which sounds awful if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a roommate that tried to decoupage a end table with playing cards.
Interesting.
And it didn't really work. It was dumb.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was really stupid.
Also, the process of decoupage has to have porous paper, and the playing cards are not porous.
They're not porous.
They're not laminated, but they have a finish to them.
Yeah, you would have to use some sort of like shellac to put a thick layer over it,
and then
hold them
it's
down.
not fucking decoupage.
Yeah, it's shellac.
Exactly.
But Anya wonders whether she should put her bridesmaids in cocktail gowns or traditional burlap and blood larvae. Buffy finally gets them back on topic, and Xander suggests getting Spike on it and hitting the streets, and this is a staunch no for Buffy.
Yeah, she doesn't want to bring Spike in. No hitting the streets.
Obvious reasons to us.
No pumping Spike for information. That's just not going to happen again. ever.
Ever. Not once.
No. Never.
Until next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anya suggests Willow, which brings up the debate of whether she needs monitoring or not, if Amy's a good magic buddy for her or not. Buffy's firmly of the opinion that people make mistakes, and so what if she crossed a line? That's how you learn, right? And I'm like, wow, project much, Buffy?
Yeah, something tells me that Buffy is not talking about Willow in this scene.
Yeah, but at least she's trying not to be a hypocrite.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is very good.
It's not nothing.
And I do want to say that, like, Buffy's position isn't necessarily wrong if you look at it from the perspective of what they know about the situation.
Yeah.
They don't know about why Tara broke up with Willow.
Yeah.
They should. Tara should fucking tell them why she broke up with Willow and be like, hey, your friend has a problem.
Yeah. Given everyone's level of information here, I think both sides of this argument are completely legitimate.
Yeah.
And even Xander and Anya are still trying to be fairly careful about how they are approaching it. They're just saying, we're just being observant. We're not being judgy. We're being observy.
Yeah. As Xander puts it, I'm not being judgy, just observy.
Mm-hmm. And Willow's not herself, and they just want to keep an eye on her, like good friends. And that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Do that.
I mean, obviously Willow is not really acting quite like herself, and they're worried about her, which is great.
And I love at this point, really just kind of triggers something in my brain where I'm like, okay, so what they've done is they've managed to make this episode coincide. It has a theme.
Yes, it does have a theme.
Buffy and Willow are both going through some shit, specifically a type of addiction.
I don't know that I would say both going through a type of addiction, but both struggling with toxic coping mechanism.
Yeah. Well, hear me out, though. I think this is almost exactly how sex addiction works. They use it to self-regulate their emotions when they're in a bad place. And that's all that she's doing with Spike.
Yeah.
Like she's got no feelings for him as an individual. Well, I can't say no feelings, but it's pretty obvious how she wants to feel about him.
Right.
So, yeah, if not sex addiction, then, yeah, I mean, that still fits the bill of bad coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut to the street where Amy is wondering what they should do because how are they going to top the bronze?
Yep. Willow and Amy walking down the street. She tells Amy about not being able to do magic earlier that day. Apparently it took her like most of the day to be able to cast any spells again.
Mm-hmm.
To which Amy's response is, hey, let's go see a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy who can fix that for you.
Yeah. He does some amazing stuff that lasts for days and has almost no burnout. He'll blow your mind. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. By the way, Amy's description of what happens and the whole spells and no burnout thing is just wrong.
Patently inaccurate.
Yeah.
But the telling part here is this isn't just Amy falling down a bad rabbit hole. She must have been doing this shit in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's only been a human again for a couple of days now.
Yeah.
How did she know about this guy?
Right. And I think, especially later, when we see her and she's like tweaked out from all of this, to me, it seems like, hey, she was going to go down this fucking path very shortly after, the point when she turned into the rat.
Entirely possible.
Being a rat saved her from herself.
For a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, until she became herself again. So Amy takes Willow to
creepy alleyway.
To his hideout, Rack's hideout. I don't think we know his name yet, but
yeah,
it's a cloaked waiting room, I guess. Yeah,
and a cloaked house, cloaked building. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to know how to find it, and it moves around, I guess. And there's this. It's kind of like Harry Potter when they go through whatever,
right, the wall
to find the train that they need. So there's this shimmering air, and then suddenly they're in a room and.
A shitty room.
A very shitty room. It's very much a crack house room.
Yeah.
Some twitchy looking druggy types are sitting around, not being judgy.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Well, it's painted. The whole scenario is painted like this is, hey, we want to do a magic addiction. It's just a stand-in for, as your mom synopsis had it, heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is drugs.
Absolutely. And so they're all sitting around a dingy-looking waiting room. A scary guy with scars and an intense expression on his face steps out. And two of the others in the room argue over it being their turn, but he steps right up to Amy and Willow, and he's like, oh, I think they're next.
Yeah. Fun fact time, Josh. Rack is played by Jeff Kober.
Okay.
Okay. He has been on Buffy before as a different character. He played Zachary Kralik, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it, but if you recall back season 3, episode 12, Helpless, the episode when Buffy was rendered powerless by the Watchers Council for her 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And she had to kill a serial killer vampire. He played the vampire.
Oh, good for him. He's got a thing for playing villains.
No, so this led me to find something that I'm shocked. We have been doing this fucking show for this many years, and I only just now found this. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer wiki, the fan wiki, has a page titled, "Weren't you on another show?" to which on this page it lists every single other show actors who have appeared on Buffy and Angel showed up in. 38 other shows, by the way. Like more.
You mean episodes of Buffy?
No.
Or
so it is
completely different shows.
So it shows the name of the actor, the casting that they had, in the episode that they were in.
But when you say shows, are you talking about other episodes of Buffy and Angel?
Other TV shows.
Okay.
So Alias, CSI, X-Files is on there, Castle, Bones is on there, like 38 different TV shows.
Is that it? I mean, I imagine if we're talking with this one guy, you mean?
No.
Or...
This is just, it shows every single cast member who has been on Buffy and Angel, and it shows the other shows that they have been on. Because think about it. How many times have we come across a fucking character on either of these shows where like, man, that dude looks familiar. What have we seen them in?
Sure, yeah. Just seems like 38 is a small number if we're talking about the entire extended cast.
It's 38 of like what they've listed on this page is all I'm saying.
Okay.
But it's a lot.
Yeah.
And like, dude, some of the entries, like I did not by any means count all of them, but like the very first one is the show Alias. I don't know if you ever watched that, but the very first show Alias had 67 entries. It was the only one I counted. 67 actors showed up in Buffy and Alias.
Wow.
And like some of the entries look a lot longer than 67. But I just found it fascinating that they actually have a wiki page for this.
Nice.
But I just wanted to mention Jeff Kober because immediately once he's on screen, I'm like, man, where do I know him from? And let me tell you, dude, this guy's had a pretty long career of TV. He's been on Voyager, Enterprise, CSI, Law & Order, Criminal Minds, Supernatural, The Walking Dead, X-Files, Sons of Anarchy, and Walker, Texas Ranger. And those are only the ones that I thought, man, I remember watching those and definitely saw him on there.
Interesting.
Dude's had a long career of bit parts.
Yeah, I'd be very curious who he played in a few of those. But no time for that right now.
Yeah.
I definitely, as soon as this guy walked on screen, I was like, man, where'd they find this scary fucker?
And no, like
how does this guy exist in polite society? It's like he lived this role to play this part.
Kinda.
His hair was stringy. He had that scar. I mean, obviously that's just makeup, but just even without that, just his face.
I think he's also wearing contacts because I don't think those are his actual eyes.
Yeah. No, his
eyes look kind of weird.
His eyes were pretty fucked. Honestly, they probably had him wearing blue screen contacts so they could do whatever they wanted with his eyes.
Yeah, maybe.
Which I think is how they do some stuff with Willow's eyes later, too.
No, I think with Willow's eyes, it's just they have these black sclera contacts. They're fucking huge.
Sure.
And apparently
for the black eyes,
extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, but also there's moments where there's like sparkly electricity going on in there and reflective of other shit, but you know, they could have done that other ways. Anyway.
Dracula. Fancy bugger on some £11 for one thing. I got quite a few demons after me these days. It's blood! It's what I do!
For her 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And she had to kill a serial killer vampire. He played the vampire.
Oh, good for him. He's got a thing for playing villains.
No, so this led me to find something that I'm shocked. We have been doing this fucking show for this many years, and I only just now found this. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer wiki, the fan wiki, has a page titled "Weren't You on Another Show?" to which on this page it lists every single other show actors who have appeared on Buffy and Angel showed up in. 38 other shows, by the way. Like more.
You mean episodes of Buffy?
No.
Or
so it is
completely different shows.
So it shows the name of the actor, the casting that they had in the episode that they were in.
But when you say shows, are you talking about other episodes of Buffy and Angel?
Other TV shows.
Okay.
So Alias, CSI, X-Files is on there, Castle, Bones is on there, like 38 different TV shows.
Is that it? I mean, I imagine if we're talking with this one guy, you mean?
No.
Or
This is just, it shows every single cast member who has been on Buffy and Angel, and it shows the other shows that they have been on. Because think about it. How many times have we come across a fucking character on either of these shows where like, man, that dude looks familiar. What have we seen them in?
Sure, yeah. Just seems like 38 is a small number if we're talking about the entire extended cast.
It's 38 of like what they've listed on this page is all I'm saying.
Okay.
But it's a lot.
Yeah.
And like, dude, some of the entries, like I did not by any means count all of them, but like the very first one is the show Alias. I don't know if you ever watched that, but the very first show Alias had 67 entries. It was the only one I counted. 67 actors showed up in Buffy and Alias.
Wow.
And like some of the entries look a lot longer than 67. But I just found it fascinating that they actually have a wiki page for this.
Nice.
But I just wanted to mention Jeff Kober because immediately once he's on screen, I'm like, man, where do I know him from? And let me tell you, dude, this guy's had a pretty long career of TV. He's been on Voyager, Enterprise, CSI, Law & Order, Criminal Minds, Supernatural, The Walking Dead, X-Files, Sons of Anarchy, and Walker, Texas Ranger. And those are only the ones that I thought, man, I remember watching those and definitely saw him on there.
Interesting.
Dude's had a long career of bit parts.
Yeah, I'd be very curious who he played in a few of those. But no time for that right now.
Yeah.
I definitely, as soon as this guy walked on screen, I was like, man, where'd they find this scary fucker?
And no, like
how does this guy exist in polite society? It's like he lived this role to play this part.
Kinda.
His hair was stringy. He had that scar. I mean, obviously that's just makeup, but just even without that, just his face.
I think he's also wearing contacts because I don't think those are his actual eyes.
Yeah. No, his eyes
look kind of weird.
His eyes were pretty fucked. Honestly, they probably had him wearing blue screen contacts so they could do whatever they wanted with his eyes.
Maybe.
Which I think is how they do some stuff with Willow's eyes later, too.
No, I think with Willow's eyes, it's just they have these black sclera contacts. they're fucking huge.
Sure.
And apparently
for the black guys,
extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, but also there's moments where there's like sparkly electricity going on in there and reflective of other shit, but they could have done that other ways. Anyway, so he smells fresh meat.
Yes.
Cut to the next room over,
where immediately Rack already knows that Amy was a rat and berates her for playing with spells that she's not ready for.
I wonder if he knew that she was a rat the whole time.
And just chose to not fucking do anything about it.
Exactly. He could have gone over there and knocked on the door any time and helped her out.
The moment she turned herself into a rat, he's just sitting there like reading a magazine and goes, huh, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll see her later.
Stupid. Good luck.
But no, he's got no eyes for Amy. He's all about the Willow. He senses that she has lots of power.
Mm-hmm. He's like, damn, girl, power coming off you in waves. She's like, oh, no.
I don't have any power.
What, this whole thing? I mean, my power drains like super fast. He's all, so what do you want me to do about it? And she's like, I don't fucking know. You tell me. And he's like, did Amy say how you can help me? And we never really find out in this episode how this is helping him.
He will be in multiple episodes.
I figured. We'll figure that out later. But he clearly gets off on it at the very least.
Yes.
So... yeah, Amy did not, in fact, mention what she can do to help him, but he doesn't want money, and he doesn't need help with his computer, but he does want to take a tour of her powers.
Well, because he expresses to her that she tastes like strawberries.
In the creepiest way possible.
Yeah.
But not until after putting his hand on her chest, well above her boobs, to be fair.
And, like, it's not that he so much gets consent, like, no verbal consent, but he does, like, pause before doing it and, like, comfort her, like, I'm not going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
And, nonverbal consent from her. Good on him for that.
Sure.
I guess.
Sure. Not
Creepy
that she knew.
warlock, but hey.
Not that she knew or understood exactly what the fuck he was going to do.
Right.
So he does this, some zappy, gasping nonsense and pulls away after a moment. And it leaves her kind of zoned out and her eyes closed with a smirk on her face. And then, of course, as you said, he leans in with his hand on her chin slightly and he whispers, "You taste like strawberries." But she's so far gone, she doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So, drug sequence. Woo!
Yeah.
Love me some good drug sequences in movies.
Amy spinning around all dreamily in the center of the room and Willow laying on the ceiling.
Pinned to the ceiling, but it's like gravity is going up.
Yeah.
It's
And
kind of cool effect, actually.
like she's having visions of like a demon carrying a body.
Yeah, there's some trippy green shit on the floor, slowly turns into bushes. Then she sees a body being dragged through the bushes, and then a demon pops out and scares her, and she drops from the ceiling and laying on the floor. She has a vision of herself with black eyes standing at the bronze, and then poof, she's standing in front of the magic box, still with the black eyes. And this is the first time we ever see her with the black eyes. That will
happens
be
a few times in this episode.
a few times, yep. And this will, of course, become iconic of Dark Willow.
Yeah.
And she wakes up on the floor and she sits up, breathing heavily.
And she's not at Rax anymore. She is in her own room.
Yeah, how the fuck did she get there? Who knows?
Who knows?
She takes a nice sobbing shower, probably having withdrawal symptoms already. I don't know. Just the pain of sobering up, which, from what I've heard, is basically withdrawal symptoms. You know, if you get pretty drunk, when you feel like shit at 4 a.m. or 6 a.m.
And it's also dehydration.
Also dehydration, yeah.
But yeah, after the shower, she steps back into the room. She's super fucking sad, as, you know, I think she should be. But she grabs some of Tara's clothes.
Yeah.
casts a spell to make the clothes Terra-shaped and then snuggles it, which is kind of sweet, but also really fucked up.
It was a little weird. I don't know if it was that fucked up. I mean, she lays her head in the clothes and the lap of the clothes, and they hold her. Very sad panda moment. I thought it was not really sweet, but I didn't think it was fucked up.
I don't know. It feels off to me.
Yeah. People do weird things when they're in pain.
I do like, though, that like I'm 100% positive that they actually had the actress in the clothes and they green screened out her face and hands.
That seems likely.
Because the body shape and everything looked exactly like Tara.
It looked very Terra-shaped, yeah. Cut to the kitchen. Dawn is an idiot and flips quesadillas without a spatula.
Yeah.
She's making PB and banana quesadillas. I'm sorry, quesadillas. So she swears they're delicious.
Okay. This would be fucking delicious. Like, if you like peanut butter and banana sandwiches, this wouldn't be really any different.
It could be done. It could be done. Yeah.
And I've made, like, sweet dishes using tortillas, they're really good.
Seems like it'd be better cold. You know, peanut butter gets really melty.
See, I like that.
Yeah, it could be done either way. I don't know.
Many years of making toast and turning toast into peanut butter sandwiches. And
sure,
being all melty.
No, that sounds good. Quesadilla, not so. Or I mean, a tortilla. That
it wouldn't be that different. I don't think it would be that different.
I think it would. So Willow's not hungry, but she's super sorry about leaving Dawn home alone the other night. And
She's feeling guilty.
Yeah, wants to make it up to her by taking her to a movie. And so they leave a note for Buffy, who's off patrolling, and
I like the little nod here because she mentions that when Buffy gets home from a fight, she always beelines to the fridge. And if you recall back when Faith was in the picture, she had said that slaying makes her want to eat and fuck.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a good little callback.
It is a good little nod. So we cut to the front door, I guess.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, Buffy steps inside. I guess it's a bit later, and she hears
something,
or otherwise senses someone upstairs. Something. There's someone on the wing. Something. She goes up to find her room and her trunk trashed, hanging wide open.
No, it's not her trunk. It's Willow's.
Willow's trunk. Okay, I knew that. And she catches Amy hoarding a bunch of stuff that she's like, it's not what you think. It's okay. Willow told me I could have this stuff. And, that would all be well and good if she just hadn't made a huge fucking mess. And if she hadn't obviously broken into the house because no one knew she was fucking there.
I like the bit where she's like, it's not what you think. It's just sage. And Buffy's response is, that means it is what I think.
That's exactly what I was thinking. You dirty sage sealer.
But yeah, like, it's sage and a couple of other ingredients. It's like, really? You couldn't have just gone to the fucking store?
Right.
Like
that
it's
stuff's
sage.
cheap.
Like, yeah. Come on.
And it's not illegal.
I bet Magic Box sells that shit in huge fucking hay bales worth.
Right.
Like,
and I bet Willow or Anya would even score some for you for free. I don't even doubt that Willow actually told her that she could have this stuff.
Right.
She's just going in there and stealing it like a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, and she is very obviously like tweaking.
She's tweaking.
Yeah.
Or she's in withdrawal and wants
Yeah.
to be tweaking. But I guess that's what tweaking is.
Yes.
So never mind. Amy tells Buffy that Willow's probably at Rack's place right now because she's his new favorite. Buffy knows that she's out with Dawn and freaks out that Willow would go there with Dawn, and she makes Amy tell her how to find Rack's hideout, kind of, but makes her puke first.
Yeah.
Just by jostling her around a bit with her big old Slayer brood arms.
I think she was going to puke anyway.
She's definitely sped up the process.
Yeah, I think Buffy just sped the process up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut to the streets where Willow and Dawn are just headed from dinner to the movie.
Dawn describes the burger that she ate as, it was like a meat party in my mouth, and immediately hears the giggity. But I thought this was kind of a weird moment. I felt like the writers kind of tiptoed around on this one because they know that they're making a 15-year-old conjure mental images of blowjobs on a public TV show. Because she's like, I mean, I know I'm just a kid, but I know that didn't sound right, which feels very out of character for Dawn.
A, out of character. B, totally in character for a 15-year-old, for fuck's sake.
You mean out of character?
No, in character for a 15-year-old. This is exactly teenage
saying,
humor.
Saying something like that is in character.
Yeah, completely.
Exactly.
Completely.
Exactly.
The response shouldn't be, oh man, I'm just a kid. Even I thought that was weird or bad or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it should be meat party in my mouth.
Exactly. No, that whole following line was literally just the writers being like, you can't hold us responsible.
Yeah, we should cover our ass here.
Exactly.
But
yeah, she never thinks of herself as a kid. And for her to say, oh no, I can't say that is, Anyway.
So they're headed to the movie. Willow, not so subtly, asks about Tara. She's very obvious, like, hey, tell me everything you can about Tara. How is she doing? Is she fucking anyone else?
Yeah, she changes the subject to Tara, but before Dawn can really answer anything about like where she's living, if she's settled in yet or not, Dawn notices that they're not going the right way to the movie theater.
Yeah.
And Willow gets a bit twitchy.
A little bit.
Kind of twitchy as fuck, actually, because, I mean, you can't spell Twitch without witch, am I right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, so she decides that they are just going to stop for a few moments to see Rack before the movie. She just needs to get a quick fix before the...
I just need a quick bump of heroin. No worries, my love. Come with me. And she takes her down the alleyway with the cloaked waiting room thing. Apparently it didn't move around too much because I'm pretty sure this is the same place it was last time.
And maybe it is.
Maybe.
I mean...
Are you saying all alleyways look the same, Rex?
I mean, in Sunnydale, yes.
You fucking alleywayist.
I mean, in Sunnydale, they're all really the same.
Yeah, they are, in fact. They're just from a different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they have two. Maybe they have two alleyway sets. I could see them having two.
Maybe they changed the slight positioning of where the fire escape was.
Yeah.
One of the doors. You know.
Yeah, the fire escape's actually on wheels, so you can like roll it down the wall.
Exactly. Move the panels around so the doors are in different places. Change up the signs. Put a different milk carton on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really spruces up the ambiance.
They walk into Rack's place, and right out of the gate, Dawn is like, oh, this place is gross and not good.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is this? And Willow's like, oh, I know. Isn't it cool? And you can tell that Dawn does not agree. Dawn does not agree that this place is cool.
I mean, she was briefly amused by the cloaking, but from there on out, completely unamused.
The design of this room is you can smell the room.
Right?
Like, you look at the room and you're like, man, I know exactly what that room smells like. And it's not good.
It smells like a bowling alley from the 70s.
Yes, exactly. That is like, there is no way in hell that room does not smell like the stalest of cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is brown.
With a little bit of fresh cigarette smoke.
Yeah. Everything is brown. It's all meant to look and like, I can feel that room. Gross.
And Willow's like, you want me to conjure you a magazine or something? And Dawn, I think, realizes it's going to be more than just a minute at this point.
Yeah.
Even though Willow swears up and down she'll be right back.
Yeah, and you know what? And Dawn mentions the movie. It's supposed to start at 9. They're running a little behind, so I imagine it's like 8:45 at this point.
Yeah, it's probably like 8:45. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 8:45, and Willow's like, "Oh, we'll be there. We'll make it. We might miss the trailers, but who needs to see the trailers?" And Dawn, has the correct opinion and likes the trailers.
Yeah.
I've never understood anybody who doesn't want to watch the trailers, because how the fuck do you learn about other movies coming out?
When there's no internet shoving ads in your face all day long. Yeah, exactly.
Like, especially back then. Like, no, the trailers were fucking important.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also recall that maybe, I don't know if you've noticed this or been to the movies recently, but there used to be a lot more movie trailers? There really aren't that many movie trailers anymore before a film.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I don't go to movies that often anymore. I do need to go see Beetlejuice.
Yep, that is on my list as well.
Mm-hmm. So a bit later,
it shows the clock and it's 10 after 10.
yeah, it's like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Or an hour and a half at least.
About an hour and a half at least.
Yeah. Some skeezy fuck sits down right next to Dawn and lights up a cigarette. It's like, why? Why, dude? What were you trying to get out of that? Meanwhile, Willow in the other room is floating midair, getting zapped repeatedly by Rack. And we see Willow's point of view. She's floating through outer space peacefully. And then a red portal slices through the time-space continuum, and a demon carrying a lifeless body steps through. Willow screams, much to Rack's amusement.
Which tells us very importantly that he knows what they're seeing.
He absolutely knows what he's doing, too.
Yes. Oh, yes. I think he's like siphoning power. Like, that's what I think he's doing.
Yeah, and that's why he was so interested in Willow. He's like, I smell power.
Yeah.
But I really wonder what this is actually doing. Like,
I don't know.
why would Amy think that, oh, this will help with your powers last longer?
Well, because it's a drug. That's why she thinks that. She's just saying whatever she needs to get Willow to go there because she wants to go there to get a fix.
Maybe that's all it was.
But my hypothesis, and I don't even know if we ever find this out, but my hypothesis is that Rack isn't a warlock. He just figured out how to do this one thing of siphoning power off somebody and did it a few times and then built up this kind of mystique of siphoning power, and that's the only source of power I think he has.
Interesting theory.
That is my theory. I have no idea if it's ever remotely explored in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, that's plausible because why else would he run this crack house where this is all he does all day?
Exactly.
Every day. He's just a skeezy piece of shit.
I'm not in your room. I'm in the hallway. The hallway doesn't belong to you. Mom, I could stand in the hallway, right? My friend Sharon's older brother knows a girl who died because she choked on her boyfriend's tongue.
Exactly what that room smells like. And it's not good.
Smells like a bowling alley from the 70s.
Yes, exactly. That is like, there is no way in hell that room does not smell like the stalest of cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything is brown.
With a little bit of fresh cigarette smoke.
Yeah. Everything is brown. It's all meant to look and like, ugh, I can feel that room. It's gross.
And Willow's like, you want me to conjure you a magazine or something? And Dawn, I think, realizes it's going to be more than just a minute at this point.
Yeah.
Even though Willow swears up and down she'll be right back.
Yeah, and you know what? And Dawn mentions the movie. It's supposed to start at 9. They're running a little behind, so I imagine it's like 8:45 at this point.
Yeah, it's probably like 8:45. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 8:45, and Willow's like, "Oh, we'll be there. We'll make it. We might miss the trailers, but who needs to see the trailers?" And Dawn, has the correct opinion and likes the trailers.
Yeah.
I've never understood anybody who doesn't want to watch the trailers, because how the fuck do you learn about other movies coming out?
When there's no internet shoving ads in your face all day long. Yeah, exactly.
Like, especially back then. Like, no, the trailers were fucking important.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also recall that maybe, I don't know if you've noticed this or been to the movies recently, but there used to be a lot more movie trailers? There really aren't that many movie trailers anymore before a film.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I don't go to movies that often anymore. I do need to go see Beetlejuice.
Yep, that is on my list as well.
Mm-hmm. So a bit later,
it shows the clock and it's 10 after 10.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Or an hour and a half at least.
About an hour and a half at least.
Yeah. Some skeezy fuck sits down right next to Dawn and lights up a cigarette. It's like, why? Why, dude? What were you trying to get out of that? Meanwhile, Willow in the other room is floating midair, getting zapped repeatedly by Rack. And we see Willow's point of view. She's floating through outer space peacefully. And then a red portal slices through the time-space continuum, and a demon carrying a lifeless body steps through. Willow screams, much to Rack's amusement.
Which tells us very importantly that he knows what they're seeing.
And he absolutely knows what he's doing, too.
Yes. Oh, yes. I think he's like siphoning power. Like, that's what I think he's doing.
Yeah, and that's why he was so interested in Willow. He's like, I smell power.
Yeah.
But I really wonder what this is actually doing. Like,
I don't know.
why would Amy think that, oh, this will help with your powers last longer?
Well, because it's a drug. That's why she thinks that. She's just saying whatever she needs to get Willow to go there.
Maybe
because she wants to go there to get a fix.
Maybe that's all it was.
But my hypothesis, and I don't even know if we ever find this out, but my hypothesis is that Rack isn't a warlock. He just figured out how to do this one thing of siphoning power off somebody and did it a few times and then built up this kind of mystique of siphoning power, and that's the only source of power I think he has.
Interesting theory.
That is my theory. I have no idea if it's ever remotely explored in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, that's plausible because why else would he run this crack house where this is all he does all day?
Exactly.
Every day. He's just a skeezy piece of shit. So anyway, we cut to Spike's lair where Buffy struggles to get Spike's attention for a change and for him to take her seriously that Dawn's in trouble until, of course, she mentions Rack. And then Spike is like, wait, what the fuck? That's no good.
Yeah, he knows who Rack is. He's dangerous. I did quote of the day here after Buffy tells him that Dawn is missing. His response is, again? You ever think about LoJack for that girl? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
LoJack, Dawn.
Have you tried putting a frickin' bell on her or something? So
Dawn is unquestionably the kid that they designed the phone tracking apps to like track your kids' phones.
Right. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? For the last time, no. So, so Buffy's entered Spike's lair. Wow, I didn't mean for that to sound so dirty. How can it not with this episode? But no, in a completely... Anyway, she's come over to his place so many times,
right,
and caught him sleeping. But this is the first time ever that he's been obviously completely naked.
Yeah.
Laying there in bed.
We have now... Like, granted, we haven't seen everything, but James Marsters has been naked twice in this episode so far.
Patrick Stewart's seen everything.
Yes.
I've seen everything.
It's too late. I've seen it all.
I've seen it all. So he stands up and he gives Buffy a big ol' floppy full frontal, and she turns away disinterested and disgusted. Or so she wants us to think. Or for the most part, that's probably actually what's going on. And it's not quite the reaction Spike was hoping for.
He continues forward as if it was, in fact, the reaction he was hoping for.
Sure.
And he kind of assumes what her reaction is, even though it's what he's assuming is not accurate to what her body language portrayed.
Sure. And I mean, he was expecting it. You know, he hasn't abused her enough recently.
Exactly.
So obviously he's got to get her warmed up.
She doesn't have that itch yet.
Yeah. You know, she's in family mode.
Yes.
Don't fuck around with that. You got to respect family mode.
And actually, he does respect family mode because he doesn't, like, there's a little bit of bullshit from him in this scenario, but, like, not much.
Not much. Yeah.
Like,
once he hears the name Rack, he's like, oh, shit. All right. Yeah. Business time.
And
actual business time, not, business socks.
Yeah. And she mentions not being able to figure out where he is, but he points out that Rack's place is under a cloak and can only be found by witches and vampires. handy that it has to be witches or vampires, because if vampires weren't included, they'd have to like go find Tara to go hunt down.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, that would have worked.
That would have been a great story, I think.
Yeah, she could have easily just ditched Spike later when she threatens to, and he guilts her back anyway. So
Yeah.
we cut to Rax's place.
Yeah, where Dawn is finally tired of waiting and like, oh my God, I wouldn't have made it that fucking long. I wouldn't have made it a whole hour before I was like, you know what? I'm going through that fucking door.
Going home. Fuck this. But, you know, I think she didn't feel safe walking through that alleyway and back home alone in the dark. The door into Willow, where Willow was.
Exactly. Yeah. She gets up to go enter the room. The creepy dude who had sat by her was like, hey, you got to wait your turn. And lo and behold, Willow steps out of the room just in time.
Good timing. And she's all, hey, it's time for the movie, Dawn. It's going to be great. And Dawn's like, bitch, it's too late for the damn movie. What the fuck is wrong with your eyes? And so they're walking down the alleyway, and Willow is so fucking high. She is white girl wasted right now. Yeah. And she is ready to party. Woo! But Dawn is ready to go home, and Willow's being a big fat bitch about it.
Yeah, she's specifically pushing Dawn, and the language she's using is very
mocking,
upsetting.
It's upsetting.
Because her entire language towards Dawn is like, oh, you want to be an adult, don't you? That means we should go out and party and have fun. Can't. It's too early to go home now.
It's super mocking and invalidating.
Yeah.
And condescending. Like, oh, you're just a kid. You don't know what's good. That kind of shit. Like, there's nothing respectful about it. And to think that this behavior is inside Willow's capability range,
right,
in any capacity, is
extremely upsetting.
Is upsetting. Okay, we get that she's really fucked up, but she's not this mean-spirited. So what the fuck is this shit doing to her?
I wouldn't be surprised if some of the attitude that she's exhibiting is a result, like it is influenced by Rack, like by what he's doing to her.
Yeah.
Like influences her personality.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what's happening.
Partially where I was going with that. Yeah. So, yeah, Willow's mocking Dawn. She's like, I think we should just get out of here. And she swears, she's like, everything's fine. Stop being so everything's fine. Cut to everything not being fine as we see that same demon from her vision following them in the shadows.
Yes.
Cut to a different part of the street elsewhere,
where Spike and Buffy are bickering a bit. She goes into this whole long spiel, essentially saying that the previous night was a big mistake. It should never happen again. It was depraved and wrong.
They get dangerously close to a dramatic reading territory here.
It's very close.
Buffy's all, you'd better not be dragging this out, you piece of stinking awful. And Spike's like, what, to be around you? Nah, already got my rocks off. You'd be craving me in no time. Last night was the most degrading experience of my life. Oh, me too. Now don't get sappy on me, love. I don't need you, you brute. Get away from me. And then they finish this off with, I'll find Dawn myself. And Spike's like, are you really going to put your little sis in danger just to spite me? And as we established just a few moments ago, she could have just gone and found Tara.
Yeah.
But also, it seems like it's just a supernatural ability in general. Buffy has supernatural abilities.
I wouldn't be surprised if she could actually kind of like tune in to find it.
She probably could, but she just doesn't really, she's not familiar with that.
I think she could if she had had Giles's help.
Right. Or Tara. Or Willow.
Yeah, Tara.
Yeah.
Tara could definitely have helped.
Yeah, definitely. Right? Because there's nothing saying that Buffy couldn't also be a witch. She's just got better things to do.
Right. Well, in the universe of Buffy, they don't really establish that like there's a natural biological element to witches. Obviously, you just have to learn it.
It's more something you do,
Yeah.
not something you are.
There might be a certain level of like, once you start to do magic, you have a certain threshold of power that you're capable of.
Right. And also they make it pretty clear that Willow has innately a much greater power reserve
Yes.
than most people do at her age and skill level.
Yeah.
So obviously that is some sort of biological or intellectual factor.
Right. But definitely not, oh, Buffy could never learn how to do magic.
Right.
Like,
I think she absolutely could.
For the number of times where Xander has accidentally cast spells and shit.
I was just going to say, all he does is accidentally read the Latin. Xander, don't read the Latin.
Don't read the Latin out loud.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think anybody can really do it.
Cut back to Willow and Dawn, where Dawn's telling her over and over that she wants to go home. And, of course, Willow's just being a total bitch about it. And then suddenly the demon from Willow's vision shows up. And I like how Willow's first response is, oh, it's fine. He's not real.
It's just a cat, but not a cat. Spawn of Satan, who would like to inquire as to the wants of the witches that summoned him. But he gets a bit impatient and takes a quick taste of Dawn's cheek blood.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Fresh cheek blood.
Yeah, Meyer fresh. No, wait, no, that would mean not fresh at all. My bad. No, it's pretty fresh. So Willow tries whimpering and begging and appeals to reason, because that always works with demons.
Yeah.
So Dawn
That's your
forgoes.
first step always. That's the first step always.
Absolutely. And if that doesn't work, do what Dawn does. Forgo all that and make an executive decision as the resident adult of this duo and kick the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, she just kicks him in the chest and knocks him back into some trash cans, buying them enough time to run.
Which at this point, like, we have yet to really see it, but I can't imagine that Buffy hasn't been on some level training Dawn to fight. And if she isn't, what the fuck is wrong with her?
I mean, she's been around this stuff enough that I'm sure she's at least confident enough and has seen enough that she's got some idea of what to do.
But, like, for fuck's sake, she should be training right alongside Buffy.
She absolutely should be.
Especially with how often she gets in fucking trouble.
Yeah. And then they can stop just using her to be this object that needs to be saved every time. Anyway, so they make it around a corner, and Willow magically opens some car doors, and they get in, and she magically hot wires it, and then drives off, and she's steering it with magic.
Yeah, look, Ma, no hands.
Yeah, it's just because, she's too good to use her fucking hands for anything anymore, apparently.
Exactly.
Willow drives like a fucking maniac and is having a little too much fun with it. She takes them in. She finally outruns this demon to a relatively safe distance, and they're getting away. And then she takes the worst possible moment to look away and drop not even
specifically look away and be way too pleased with her hard air quotes success.
Yeah, she's dropping a not even a good one-liner on this bad guy that can't even hear them.
Right.
And it's all she says is, "Take that, scuzz." I don't know if she thought this was a tunnel that she was going into, but she had to have seen that there was a fucking wall there.
Right.
With a big hole in it. And inside this wall wasn't more road.
No.
It was just a concrete pillar. And now it is them smushed.
Now it contains a broken car.
Now it contains them smushed against a concrete pillar.
Man, I cars don't like concrete pillars.
Not so much, especially going, at least 45 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, at least.
And they hit hard.
Cut to commercial. We're come back to Dawn getting out of the car. She's notably, dazed and out of it. Wound on her head. She does not look like she's doing well.
No.
She's not happy.
No.
Not happy at all.
No.
And then, of course, the demon is caught up with them.
Of course. Didn't take him long at all. I'm surprised it took that long, honestly.
I'm also surprised that, she gets the shit beat out of her. This isn't just, like the normal thing where they like have the demon like grab a hold of her or anything. No, like she gets fucking thrown around.
Oh yeah. He gets his hands on her and he knocks her down right away. She takes the opportunity to try and crawl under the car. I don't know how well you thought that was going to go, Dawn.
I mean, it's at least something.
Desperate times. Yeah, it lasts like 2 seconds before he grabs her ankles and pulls her back out. But that gives her a good opportunity to scoop up some dirt and huck that in his face, which bought her like a second and a half.
I give her fucking kudos because she is outrageously out of her depth, but she's a fighter.
She keeps herself alive long enough for Buffy to get there. She grapples with him a bit. But then he like fucking
he chucks her,
wails her across the whatever the
alleyway
space that they're in.
Yeah,
I feel like they're under a bridge or something.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah,
but like she goes hard, like flies across the fucking screen, lands hard. Obviously, Demon's about ready to kill her, and then Buffy out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, he does this creepy ape gallop thing. It was actually very similar to when Oz was when he was a werewolf.
So much so that I looked up if this was the same actor in costume. And I couldn't find anything to say whether or not he was.
No, I'm pretty sure Oz did his own werewolf work.
Not all of it, though.
Maybe not all of it, but he did some of it. I saw an interview with him where he talked about it.
There was at least one stunt guy who did all 4 running stuff.
I mean, to be fair, it always kind of looks the same when a human tries to run on all 4s.
Yeah.
That's the effect you get.
Yep.
I mean, I respect the skill of being able to do that. I often have dreams where I'm running on all 4s like that, and there's even like a whole subcategory of furries. Actually, they probably consider themselves a super category of furries who like actually believe that they are animals, and they spend a good lot of their time running around on all 4s.
There's this TikToker that I've seen a number of videos for that his entire upper body workout is he spends a certain amount of time each day crawling around on his 4 limbs. And his arms are ripped, dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking ripped.
That was exactly my next comment, is that shit gets you ripped.
There was a recent video he did where he literally galloped on all 4 limbs, and I'm just fucking blew my mind. I can't imagine having that much body strength.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, that guy would be cast for doing this shit.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be good times. I should do that. It sounds really freeing, honestly. And like you could probably run faster that way, which is, why
I have no idea
4-legged animals are able to run so fucking fast.
Yeah, but our bodies are definitely not built for it.
Yeah, we're not quite.
Once upon a time, there was a kitty. She was very little, and she was all alone, and nobody wanted her.
Did the kitty get chosen by some nice people?
Well, now you ruined the ending.
Buffy shows up, fights the demon. They do some wire work in this fight, and I really liked it.
They did a little bit, yeah. It was done really well.
Yes.
It made me do a double take. I was like, wait, was she able to actually jump like that? No, that had to be on a wire.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, obviously, she's on a wire.
Right, it wasn't fucking, what was that goddamn martial arts movie? Way of the Dragon or something.
All of
like
them?
That. Yeah. The ones where it has them like flying through the...
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that kind of wire work. It's like, it's kind of cool, but it's just so fucking over the top.
Right, where they're literally just floating in midair while they fight.
But this one was very obviously like, okay, the stunt woman, maybe it was Sarah Michelle Gellar even, is going to do a jump kick, and we're just going to give a tug on the wire to give a bit more oomph.
It was used to make her look super strong.
Exactly.
Not to do effects.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the fight's over pretty quick, but not in the way you think, because it looks for a second like Buffy might not be able to take this thing, and then he just bursts into flames.
Yeah, he starts shuddering really hard, and we're like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? She's like, oh, now you're scared. But it turns out Willow's awake now.
Yeah.
She's come to, rather.
She's in semi-dark Willow mode. She's got the black eyes,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of lightning around her hands.
And yeah, she toasts this motherfucker with her brain.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Spike during the fight was checking up on Dawn. Buffy runs over to Dawn. Her arm is very obviously broken. And Buffy tells Willow to get the fuck away. And Willow...
Yeah, they're just trying to get her up to take her to a doctor, and Willow just won't listen to Buffy saying, get the fuck away from my sister.
And Willow's just apologizing over and over and over again. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, blah, blah, blah. Excuses. And then the fucking clincher is that after a long pause, Dawn, straight eye contact, just staring her down, fucking slaps her. And like, obviously, I doubt Dawn could really put enough oomph to actually hurt Willow, but it's so obvious, like...
It's not about physical pain.
Right. That was a deep emotional blow.
Absolutely.
Because, like, up until this point...
That was a shame slap.
Oh, yeah. Up until this point, think of who has been, like, the biggest fucking, like, fan of Willow. Like, hardcore backed Willow every fucking step, loves Willow to death.
Absolutely.
And this is the moment where, like, holy shit, did you fuck up?
Yep. And it's pretty harsh, but I think this is a healthy amount of shame that Willow needs for a wake-up call.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, you should definitely be ashamed of endangering a loved one's life.
Buffy, Spike, and Dawn start to walk off, and Willow just collapses, just going, I'm sorry, over and over again.
Bawling hysterically.
Yeah, up until Buffy...
Begging for forgiveness.
Yeah, up until Buffy comes back and then just fucking rips in to Willow. Leads Willow to begging for help. She's tried to stop. She can't stop. She doesn't know how to do this on her own. And luckily, you know, Buffy isn't so done that she doesn't love her friends still, and hugs Willow and is like, okay, I think I can help.
Yeah. And Allison Hannigan, again, just has amazing crying skills.
Yeah. Oh, it is heart-wrenching, man.
It is difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we go from that scene, we cut to the bedroom where Willow is sitting in her bed wrapped in a blanket, hair wet from a shower.
It's obviously hours later. They've been to the doctor.
Yeah. She's staring into the middle distance. Buffy comes in with a still pretty stern look on her face. Time to face the music, Willow. Again, some more.
Yeah.
Willow asks if Dawn's okay.
She has a broken arm.
She fractured something and she's knocked out on pain meds. But Buffy just doesn't understand. And Willow goes on about how the magic is a problem and it started even before Tara left. She needed it to feel good about herself because it freed her from the old version of herself that she hated, apparently.
She comes clean to Buffy about the magic being why Tara left. And this is the first fucking moment that anyone that is not Tara and Willow actually knows why Tara left.
Yeah.
Thank God someone fucking knows now. It's getting annoying.
But she didn't specifically say that she cast a memory wiping spell.
Wasn't completely clean about it, but she did at least express that the magic is the problem.
Yeah.
And that is important.
That's a start. But she needed the magic to feel good about herself because it freed her from the old version of herself. Buffy starts to say how much she understands and relates because, but realizes that would require confiding about Spike to her, which she was already going to do last episode.
Right.
Just before the Amy thing came to her attention. But anyway, so she dodges that one more time. And she makes sure to keep the subject on Willow.
Yeah.
With, it's wrong. And, you know, people get hurt. So
yeah,
don't do that.
Which, by the way, the tactic here, when you're trying to help someone and they're talking about their problems, as my fiance has explained to me, you want to avoid counter-transference. And that is the moment when, particularly in therapy, but in general, if you're trying to help someone and you bring up something that is bothering you and you can use that to kind of relate to the situation, but a lot of times what happens is countertransference, where like you're trying to help someone and then you're like, but I have this problem too. And then they end up having to comfort you. And that's a problem. And that's a big hindrance to being able to help someone through their emotional shit.
Yeah.
And if you want to actually help someone through their emotional shit, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's very good. One time so far that it's actually very good that Buffy is letting that drop and not bringing up the situation with Spike.
That actually makes 2 times in the same episode, because there was earlier with Dawn.
True.
Where that's just an inappropriate subject for her to discuss with Dawn.
Right.
And also in front of Willow and Amy all at the same time. That's more of a one-on-one conversation with Willow, I think, is probably the only appropriate person.
Well, Dawn, when a vampire and Slayer really hate each other, sometimes they get together and do the naked dance.
They just absolutely wreck each other's genitals. Go get your dolls. I've got a demonstration for you.
Oh man. Anyway.
Wow. So
there's a little bit of empathy here from Buffy to Willow. The tone is a lot of Willow being like, Willow fucking hates herself.
Yeah, it turns out she's got really low self-esteem,
Yeah.
which I guess we should have known that.
Right. And
She was a nerd, a geek.
And
a really good one, though.
But she loathes her past self.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious that she built up this sort of idea of what she had to be with magic, and magic started filling this space in her head.
Mm-hmm.
She expresses to Buffy that she was out of her mind, out of control. She didn't know how to deal with it, but she promises that it will never happen again. I don't know that I believe that.
Oh, yeah. Willow swears off magic for good because it's not worth it if it hurts the people she loves. And she won't miss those nosebleeds and stinky yak cheese in her bra. And Buffy doesn't even need to ask about the yak cheese because it's over. Yeah, it's over. Cut to the narrator. It was not over.
Yeah. We cut to a little bit later. Apparently everyone went to bed. Willow is in bed, obviously fighting withdrawal symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut over to Buffy, who also trying to fix her scenario by hanging garlic at every window and sitting in the middle of her bed with a cross. Because she is not going to let that sexy, sexy vampire seduce her again.
Yeah, like that's going to keep that horny bastard away. Come on.
Right?
Come on.
He doesn't care.
No fucking way. Gerarg.
Is this for me? I must be ready. I need my strength. Give me more! Nights I shall walk in the earth.
Hold on. You've got something in your eye.
All right. Speaking of that sexy, sexy bastard, so last episode we talked about James Marsters' not well received eventually song called Dangerous.
Yes.
And I think we were a little hasty with jumping on his shit about it. It's not like we would have been the first to do that. A bunch of people have done that. And we did find another article and a little video where he talks about it a little bit.
And what he expressed, now granted, this is a grain of salt sort of scenario. We don't know the truth of the scenario. But what he expressed is that the song, while truthfully was written about Michelle Trachtenberg, it was not written about her in a I'm hot for you sexy way. It was written about her in that she was crushing on him and he felt that was inappropriate. And the song is about, hey, you're too young. This crush you have is inappropriate. You're sweet. I love you as a person, but no.
That being said, that is not how the song comes across at all. I was aware that was the situation when we talked about it, But it didn't, like, the lyrics are still inexcusably creepy.
Yeah.
But we're not condemning James Marsters. As he said in the video, and I feel for him a bit here, he's like, man, times have changed. And he's not wrong.
No.
We were
he's
there.
Not wrong.
So many ridiculously inappropriate things do not fly anymore that both Rex and I said with rampant frivolity in the 90s.
Yeah.
I will not repeat them here.
Yeah.
Because that was just the way it was. And I feel very boomery saying that.
Well, I was actually recently talking to a friend of mine, and the sentiment that I expressed is that a key aspect these days about particularly being a man of our age is the acceptance that A, we have been toxic, B, we still are toxic, and C, that is a thing that we will have to face every day forever.
Yeah.
And accepting that that is true is part about being an adult and being a man, and you have to accept your own part of your own toxicity. It's the same way as, like, all white people need to accept that you're a racist at some level. On whether you know it or not, there is racism.
It's built into our culture.
Exactly.
We're not telling you to feel bad about it. We're telling you need to accept that you have privilege over marginalized people and act accordingly.
Exactly. And that's part and parcel. And this is one of those scenarios where maybe James Marsters' point is informed by being badgered over the years about this song, but still the way he talked about it in that brief interview, while a canned practiced answer or not, is still a level of like, yeah, this is a bad scenario. I don't perform this song anymore. And he did say that in the interview. Yeah. I don't perform this song anymore because it is not a good song to perform.
Yeah. And he's clearly, there's zero evidence of him being a sexual predator. And we know that Michelle Trachtenberg has nothing but good things to say about him. There's no reason to drag him through the mud about this, which we got dangerously close to doing last episode. And there's absolutely no reason to do that.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, God, how'd you feel about this episode, Rex?
It was all right. I didn't hate it, but it was all right.
I think shit's starting to ramp up. The drama factor is well above 50%, and it's only going to get higher.
That isn't my problem. I'm fine with the story. Like, where they're taking it, love it. What they're doing with Willow, love it. A little off on the Buffy Spike thing still. I know where they're going with that, so, like, I'm fine with it for now. The overarching aspects of the season arc in this episode, great. Perfectly fine with. The specific Monster of the Week aspect of this show, it was all right.
Oh, the demon that came out of the vision. Honestly, I feel like Rack is more of the villain of this episode than the demon was.
And I am...
And we're already getting into the territory of Willow was more the villain of this episode than the demon was.
Right.
The demon was a minor complication, much like the zombies in The Walking Dead. I'm sorry, the walkers.
But overall, it wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't a great episode. That's my take on it.
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't a big climactic, super satisfying episode. But I'm starting to look at all of these episodes at how they fit in and play their role in the season arc.
Right.
And this one did not feel out of place. It didn't feel underplayed or overplayed. And so I give it high marks for being what it needed to be for the purposes of the season arc.
A 5 out of 7?
Sure. Why
You've
not?
seen that meme, right?
No.
I'll have to show it to you sometime. I'm sure there's plenty of fans who know what I'm talking about.
But also I found it plenty entertaining in its own right. Just the drama between Spike and Buffy, and Willow and Tara, and Willow and Dawn, and Willow and Buffy. Just the Willow the Willow Buffy. No, the Willow drama, I think, took the cake this episode, but there's still that underlying factor of Spike and Buffy.
I think my biggest problem there is that because of a lot of my feelings about the Buffy Spike relationship and where I know that story's going, I am finding it very difficult to find any entertainment in it. And I think that's my problem.
Yeah, you spoiled it for yourself.
Right. And
son of a bitch.
But I can't not look at it from modern eyes is the problem.
Yeah.
I can't, like a lot of the other stuff, I can suspend that many years later of watching it, but I can't not see the cringe with that aspect of the story, and it makes it really hard for me to find entertainment in it. I think that's my problem.
Well, I'll just go ahead and enjoy it for you, Rex.
That's good.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah.
All right. So there was one other little thing that we got a little bit away from, but I still kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in on it. You were talking about how Willow Willow was using magic originally and to this day to fill that hole in her soul, to fill that void, in a way to be a different person, to try and become a different person. And I just think that's really relevant to what I've been learning about emotional health and well-being and psychologically how to get there recently. I've been watching a lot of Heidi Prieb's YouTube channel. She's a certified therapist who talks a lot about limerence and toxic shame, and the solution to these things is all being your authentic self. And in order to be your authentic self, you have to learn how to intimately know yourself and be kind to yourself, and feel your emotions instead of pushing them away and covering them up with things that just stave off those emotions, like Buffy's doing with sleeping with Spike, hooking up with Spike, and like Willow's doing by temporarily boosting her self-esteem by getting into all this magic. But as we've seen, it's a slippery slope. It just keeps, she needs more, because that hole isn't getting filled, and the same amount isn't, she's never going to be happy with that. She always needs more. So yeah, I just had this spark of a moment where I'm like, she's not being her authentic self. And this black magic is an allegory for her covering up her toxic shame of hating who she is. She needs to learn to love herself, which is something that we all throw around in casual conversation. You know, I've heard that my whole life. You just need to learn how to love yourself. Right. But nobody ever has any fucking advice on how to actually do that or what that actually means.
Well, and I think I've always been a firm believer that the first step to actually loving yourself is to appreciate your authentic self.
Yeah.
And, you know, my goal in life is to live authentically, unapologetically.
Sure. The issue, I think that is a great luxury to already be in touch with who your authentic self really is. Because if you've been using things to cover up who your actual authentic self is so that you can posture this inauthentic you that you think people will like more, you're going to burn out on that. Yeah. And also you're going to avoid and not actually know on a conscious level who you really are, what you really enjoy. You have this list of things that you thought other people would enjoy, knowing that you enjoy.
Right.
And you have to unlearn and kind of realize, oh, I wasn't really doing that for myself. And I think that's a big part of what Willow is doing with magic.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, it's very obvious that the draw of it, her introduction to magic, she started playing with magic because she thought it was cool. That is sounding very much like a Sunday after school special. But she saw magic and thought it was cool. But then when Tara came along, she was able to connect with somebody with magic. And I think that was kind of the start of it for her, because it got her out of her kind of locked in self.
Mm-hmm.
She had a couple of friends, but she couldn't connect with other people.
And obviously, we know from Giles's connection with magic that being into magic isn't a bad thing.
Right.
But it can go wrong if you're not careful with it. And Giles even started trying to tell her that. An analogy I thought of just a moment ago, because I've also been watching a lot of Cobra Kai. It's like she started learning karate, and that's very vanilla and also very wholesome. But then she got into cage fighting. Or I don't know what the right allegory is.
I don't either.
Joining Cobra Kai and being part of Kreese's faction.
Either way, it's time for quotes of the day. Let's close this episode out.
You first. What's your quote of the day, Rex?
I'm going to go with, again, you ever think about a LoJack for that girl?
Ha, good one. All right.
Just because we're all thinking it.
Right? Can someone put a frickin' bell on her or something? Oh, well, I got to go with, you're bent. Yeah, and it made you scream, didn't it?
Yeah.
Ha, dick joke.
Oh, if you know, you know. I love it.
Penises.
Yeah.
Some of them are banana shaped.
All right.
Or at least that's what porn would lead me to believe.
Finish the episode. It's your closing.
So this has been another episode.
God, I'm going to jump this table and beat you with a baseball bat.
Hooray! That's all you had to say, Rex. Jeez, don't threaten me with a good time. This has been another episode of Beer with Buffy. Don't forget to not follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. If you want to buy some of our shit, our store is back. Go to beerwithbuffy.com/shop or /products. Both of them work. If you'd like to support us financially without getting any weird shit in the mail, go to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. Unfortunately, we don't have any dildos with the Beer with Buffy logo on them yet.
No, we do not.
It could happen. Somebody sent me a bunch of information on good ways to look into having that done.
Really?
Yeah, that was a while ago. I'd have to sift back through our texts to find it. Patreon. Go to patreon.com/beerwithbuffy. Give us your money. We'll name your cat or whatever you want us to name, except not your kids.
Right.
Actually, you know what? I'll name your kids.
I don't want to name anyone's kids.
I'll do it. We got this. Review us on iTunes. It's one of the best ways you can help us. And if we get one more, we're giving away a free hoodie. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always email us at beerwithbuffy@gmail.com. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, you can do so at 269-743-0783. You can also text to that number. Future huge shout out to Adam Danis and Maggie Heron for all of our opening, closing, and transitional music, because they haven't actually done that yet, but they're gonna. They did our musical episode, and none of our previous composers want any credit or anything to do with us, so fuck them.
And just like we said at the top of the episode, we're going to be going on a hiatus for a little bit while I go get myself married to my fiance.
Fucking weirdo.
Like, not just to myself. But,
yeah, we're finally tying the knot, you guys.
We are not tying the knot, but you know what? Josh is my best man.
I am the best man, so I'm
really looking forward to the best man speech. I might have someone record it.
I'm pulling one of the strings on that knot.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know how long the hiatus will be. At the very least, it will be through mid-November.
Couple of months.
Yeah,
Bear with us. We'll be back, guys.
And as we said so before, we will freeze Patreon payments for the break, just like we did last time. Don't stress about it. We will make sure that we are not taking money without episodes.
It's going to be okay. Don't leave us. Oh, God. We love you. This has been Beer with Buffy. I'm Josh.
I'm Rex. Have a good night.
Keanu Speed, Rex.
Reeves be with you.
You are the Slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your years, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You have a sacred birthright. You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Why can't you people just leave me alone?
You are the Slayer.
Go ahead. Prepare me.
I'm a watcher. I haven't the skill.
Oh, come on.
By appealing to your common sense. Werewolves, incubi, succubi, everything you've ever dreaded was under your bed, but told yourself couldn't be by the light of day.
One gal in all the world.
Common sense.
One gal in all the
Common
world.
sense. It was a bit, British, wasn't it?
Wait, what have we done? Why are we watching this?